Hey everyone, it's Susie, and I have three little journals I want to show. Um, uh, these two are basically the same, maybe just a little bit of difference on the inside. And this is my Cottage Journal magazine one, which is the first one I'm going to show. But I tell you what, Christmas is my favorite time of year. I just love everything about Christmas, and so I've really gotten in the Christmas mood with the Christmas journals and the 12 weeks of Christmas. It has really, really put me in the Christmas mood this year. So this here is just the Cottage Journal. This was their cover this month, and it is just so cute. Like I said, Christmas is my favorite time of year, so it doesn't take too much to get me excited about Christmas. This here I have simply made some little pockets. This is the little Tim Holtz metal piece, whether it's a charm or what you want to call it, metal embellishment. 25 for the 25th. Made the little pocket and just did some overlapping there, collaging with some coffee stained seam binding, little lace, and of course a rusted pin. This is a little manila tag that I have did some stitching, the little Christmas tree stitching there. Just a place for journaling there. And then on the front it also has a little pocket, and everything is pretty much stuck in except for this. I have actually glued all this down. It's another little tag here with a little tree on it, and it just sets in here. The other, like I said, the other stuff here is kind of glued down so it wouldn't come out. I did do a little trim here. Now this, I have gotten some things from I believe it's smtiffanylane, and I am going to be putting her link in the description box. She has some great things. She does tags, just all kinds of things. She has lots of trims, but be sure and go check her out. This is where this trim here came from. It has some gold in it, and I just kind of made a little flower collage there, stitched it down, and I did use some of the linen tape there. And let's just get into it. Now, you know, I love magazine journals. They are so easy to do, and they're so much fun because magazines have such great images in them most times. This I have actually, because an advertisement was on the inside of the cover, I have actually just took some page images out of the book and just put it in the front and then stitched. I put them in first, front and back, and then I stitched around the cover so that it would catch. And then of course I stitched my pocket on, and I did bring it on the inside. This is a nice little glass jar with all kinds of bulbs and lights in it. Isn't that pretty? Here I've done some collaging, and here is some music sheet. And I have to say, thank you so much, and she sent me some Happy Mail, and I am putting that Happy Mail to good use. I can't say it was a little box of Happy Mail. It was a big box of Happy Mail, and I've just had a ball with going through it and stuff. And I'm going to start incorporating some of the stuff that she had put in there. This is one of them that she had put in with some music sheets, which I absolutely love. Here is an image here of the tree with some presents on it. Isn't that pretty? Here I've just sewn on some paper here, and let me make sure I'm in frame. I'd hate to be out of frame. Here is just a little band that you can slip something in on some of the ledger paper, and this is also some that she'd sent me, some vintage ledger paper. Here is an image of a vintage ornament hanging on a tree, and it is a flip up there, and I have just stitched around it. Here is just a vintage, this was some kind of cash book that I had found at an antique mall. Expenditure book. This is January. Here is just some wording that I have actually cut out of the magazine, and I cut out for the holidays. This is that trim that I have gotten from smtiffanylane. Like I said, I'm going to put her link in. This is already some coffee dyed gauze, and this is almost like an eyelash trim. I'm not sure what kind you call that, but anyway, this is where this comes from. And this is some of that I got in the Happy Mail. This fabric right here, isn't that pretty? It looks so vintage. And then I have a collage here on a sheet, all stitched in red. And here is just some graph paper. Here is just a book page, and this side is blank. Here is just an image, and I have lined it in some masking paper that I've copy dyed. Some more of that trim and that pretty. This looks so Christmassy. Just collaged here on this page. Another beautiful tree out of the magazine. A very jolly holiday, and this is some that I've gotten that Happy Meal. Isn't that pretty? It's a beautiful little flower. And anyway, I just stitched it on a little piece of manila tag, actually, is what that is. And some more vintage ledger paper. Here's a little pocket. I've done some decorative stitching. This has some of the little trees on it. And of course some of that beautiful vintage fabric. Oh, I love that ribbon fabric. And here is another pocket. I didn't put anything in it, but you could put something in there. And there is my center of the signature. And here is part of a wreath, and I have just stitched some of this pretty lace. I found this on the way to a junk sale that we were going to, my sister and my niece and I, and we stopped at a little, I want to say Amish, but I know that isn't right, Mennonite, I believe it was Mennonite, restaurant. And anyway, they had these laces in here, and isn't that pretty? And I bought some of it when we were there. Another little image. Here's some more of that big page. This here was in the magazine, and it was so pretty because it looks, I mean, it's another cover here, Cottage Journal Holiday Home, and it was advertising for this, and I thought, what a pretty picture, so I kept it. And it is lined so that it can be written on in the back. And it's just put on with one of my little rusty pins there, rusty clips. Here's just a little collage there I've made on some graph. This here actually folds out for some journaling space, and it's got vintage. I just cut that out of the magazine. Little collage, another little flip up. Isn't that pretty? Some old ornaments there. I love that. Here's another little piece I have just sewed on. It's just stitched onto this masking paper. It's just like a little display of bulbs there. Here's another one of those little vintage. This is my favorite image. I love this. This is like an old Airstream camper. Isn't that cute? I love that. That was in the magazine, so I had to put that in there. I just love that image. And then here is some more of just a little band there, little journaling paper. And here I have just, I think this had some kind of something written on it, so I actually just covered it over for a journaling spot to go with the little stocking there. And then here is another side of that. And anyway, that's the end of the book. But anyway, this is fun. This one here is not going in the Etsy shop. The other two will. This one here is already got a home, so it won't be for sale. But the two that's coming up will be. They will be in my Etsy shop. I will have them listed there with this video. So This here is Authentiques Retro Christmas. And the same way, I have gotten several trims here from smtiffanylane that I will be putting in the description box. I've got several trims from her in this. So this here, I did them both just alike, other than, you know, there'll be a very few differences. One I have tied with a red ribbon, one I have tied with the white sari silk. But if you prefer, if you buy one of these and you prefer it to be a red ribbon or a white ribbon, just let me know. If you don't want the white, just tell me you want the red. I'll just change them before I send it out. Also, on both of these, I have I've made a little place to hold that ribbon in. I went ahead and slid this one out. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, this does go in here. I like for this ribbon to stay on the journal. I don't like it to come off, especially if you're opening it and shutting it. That way you don't have to always, you know, have it thrown to the side. It stays on. So anyway, I have just sewn this on so that it would have a place to hold that in there without just simply being glued on there. But anyway, this is the cover. This is some of that Happy Mail that I've got. This is some of the red trim that was in there. I've used a little book page. Now I did Mod Podge the book page. I did not the tag here, but I did the book page. I've got one of these little canvas tags. This is some vintage trim right here. This is absolutely beautiful, that little tatted trim. And anyway, you open it up, and I did a lot of stitching in this book. This is another thing that came from that Tiffany Lane right here, the Story Begins tag, and I have just put it in. I only had one of them, so this book has it. I did a lot of stitching. Here I've just did a little collaging, and this is just a little piece of vintage ledger paper that goes in that tiny, tiny pocket. And then here is some graph paper. This is another thing that came in my Happy Mail. I was so happy to get some of that. Santa's list, and then I just put a little backing on it so you could journal. This is some masking paper. Now this is a photocopy here. I added a sticker from the sheet. It's a Wonderful Life. Music page there is copied. Here I've just sewed some of that trim on. Let me just make sure I'm staying in frame. Let me look real quick. Okay. Here is a canvas tag that was also in my Happy Mail. And I have just collaged it. And it does flip up. So that was kind of fun. This is a photocopy of a vintage Sears catalog. I believe it was Sears sale. And anyway, I did photocopy it. This is not the original. Some things you just can't part with. And I backed that little tag there. And here's just some paper. Here's some more of that ad. Ready to wear aprons, 69 cents. When you buy a package of 6 assorted aprons. 69 cents. Wouldn't buy you much today. And here is some just crocheted lace on a Rolodex. And I've just backed the front of it there in some old music sheet. And here's another one of the little collage pockets. Little tiny pocket there. And this is actually attached, but it does open up and you can journal. Oops, get over here where you can journal. And I just put the paper clip on there to keep it closed is what I did, just so that it will stay closed. Here is some washi. Let me see here. Yeah, washi there. And here is a red snowflake. This is one of them that I got in my Happy Mail also, and I just kind of stitched it, did some stitching on it. It's just a felt snowflake. Some more of that little vintage ad. And then here is a little collaged pocket, joyful, some tags from the collection. Another little collage. This is a little flower from that same Tiffany Lane there. Little old bitty piece of paper. Goes in this little bitty envelope. And then it sits in this little pocket. And it's all collage. This is some old ledger paper. Now the old ledger paper is fragile, so you know, be careful when you're pulling your things in and out because it is very fragile. And then here is just some more of that trim that I have collaged on the sheet. Here's a little collage. Stitch some of the plaid fabric. And then To All a Good Night, and just kind of collaged it and stitched it on the back. So anyway, this is this is just Jolly Old Saint Nick Red. That's how it will be listed. And this will be Jolly Old Saint Nick White. So, and same way, the book page and the little collaged yarn there, flowered, my little vintage tatting trim there. Here is a pocket, Unwrap the Magic, and this one has just a little booklet I've made because I didn't have another Story Begins. All I had was the one. Here's the little vintage pocket, or the little cute little pocket that's collaged here on the page. Santa's List. Best time of the year. So I said it is basically the same, but it may just have a little bit of difference. This has a Noel, and then it flips up also. And I may run a little stitch down that. I didn't do that, but I may do that. Another Merry and Bright. Those are backed. Same way. Here's the little Rolodex card. And the little pocket. All collaged. Same way on this one. This one was sewn on where the other one was actually glued on. It was sewed in and then glued on. This one is actually sewn to the, here's that little felt snowflake. And then here is that little collaged pockets. There's the joyful retro Christmas. Here is a little journaling spot with the little poinsettia, little burlap poinsettia there. Same way, meet me under the mistletoe. Goes in the pocket. Little music sheet there, my little collage, Toys and Joy, and then here is the back of the book. So anyway, like I said, these will be going in the Etsy shop. This is Jolly O Saint Nick White, this is Jolly O Saint Nick Red, and this one already has a home. So, but anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching.